Oops, didn't realize I had on mute. I apologize. Okay, welcome to Donna Just Being Real. My channel is all about dating, love, relationships, and toxic relationship advice channel. So we're going to get into this topic again. Obsessed ex-boyfriend murder trial. Trial of Zachariah, I hope I'm saying Zachariah Anderson. Please make sure you read the description and also hit the like button and also share the video on your social media, subscribe and all that good stuff. And feel free to watch some of my past content. No problem. Check it out. And I do great animations too. My channel is all about dating, love, relationships, and toxic relationship advice channel. And I use a lot of different things as teaching tools. I use animations. I use trials. I use news clips. I give my own advice and everything to help people to date smart and not thirsty. So we're going to get into it. So today is just basically, I'm just going to be showing trial clips. Now, and also for the replay watchers, make sure you leave some feedback. That's really great. That helps out the content creator. Now, I'm going to be showing some clips because I'm basically kind of new to this. I haven't watched like the whole trial, so I really can't give too much of my own feedback, right? So I'm going along with it. But today I said, let me just show some clips and I'll be kind of watching it with you too, right? And I might pause a little bit to share my thoughts, but I'm watching this. And I think if I'm correct, Monday, I think they're going to be closing up, so they might be doing closing arguments. So we're going to see what happens, all right? So I have some clips to show. Now, Melanie said, and blessings to you, she said, good afternoon, Miss Donna. I hope you're going to cover the state's clip of mouthing the word. Also, I can give you some scoops on the comments that went over the court's mic. Oh, yes. Share whatever you can. Help me out. And also, I'll put the link in the description in case anybody wants to jump up here. Feel free, anybody come up here and share their thoughts. Now, the first clip we're going to show, and thank you, Melanie, because, you good with this stuff. All right, because I know you said that you was following this. All right, so we're going to watch this clip here. Now, this one here was day 9. Now, day 9, we're going to watch the girlfriend, the ex-girlfriend. She was on here. So, basically, to sum up, let me just give you a little bit brief cap about this whole trial. A little bit that I know of, right? Okay, so this guy right here that you see, he's on trial for killing this guy. You get the names in the description. For killing him. Now they say he killed him because he was jealous and he was obsessed over his ex-girlfriend. His ex-girlfriend, they have children together. I don't know, 2 or 3 kids or something like that. So he was upset, I guess, because she moved on. She found herself another man. She didn't want to be with him no more. She was tired of being with him because whatever reasons. I think he was violent or had a temper or whatever it was, right? So she moved on with this guy. So he didn't like that. And they say allegedly. You're innocent until proven guilty. Allegedly that he killed her. That he killed him. Yeah, I know. It's all crazy. All over the place. All right. So let's watch this clip here when she was on the stand and hear a little bit of what she had to say. I just watched some of it, but I didn't see it all. And I'm going to show some other clips. But I'm going to let you know. Now, I'm going to put this on a faster speed. And what you do on your end, yeah, I'm going to put it on 1.5. Yeah, I'm going to leave it on 1.5. On your end, what you can do is you can slow it down so it could be a slower speed for you. All right, whatever works. Let's get it.
About 7 or so, there was not a single flake of snow anywhere near my property. And I hope you actually had the same good fortune, but I guess some of the people had 8 inch.
Sadie Beecham, Sadiebeacham.
And Ms. Beecham, are you currently employed?
Yes.
And how are you employed?
I work for community care.
And in general, what city do you currently live in?
I live in Colgate.
And do you know somebody by the name of Zachariah Anderson?
Yes.
And do you see him in the courtroom?
Okay, I see some people popping through the back door. I didn't even see. And 603 blessings to you and a happy Sunday. And Melanie's laughing over there. But I'm going to put the link in the chat if anybody want to jump up here and share their thoughts. Or if you just want to hang out up here with me, don't want to say nothing, hey, it's up to you. It's all good. It's Sunday. Let's relax. Crunch and munch live stream. If you have your cocktails, your crunch and munch, or whatever it is, your water, just feel comfortable, feel free, because this is how we do Sundays. And we have Pam up here. Hugs and kisses to you, beautiful. All right, let's get it. Like I said, the speeder's on 1.5. If it's too fast for you, you know what to do. You slow it down. Let's get it.
Today?
Yes.
And can you point out where he's seated, what he's wearing?
Today he's wearing a gray suit, blue tie.
Judge, I would just ask the record reflect the accused.
Indicating the accused.
And how do you know Mr. Anderson?
We had a relationship and we have children together.
When did you first meet the defendant?
I first met him in about 2007.
Try this unusual bedtime ice hack tonight to change your life for good. You may not know this, but the bio...
And you indicated you have children together. How many?
We have 3.
And what year was your daughter born?
Our daughter was born in 2008.
And back in 2008, were you residing with the defendant?
Yes.
And at some point, did you stop residing with the defendant during your relationship?
Yes.
When is the last time by year that you actually lived with the defendant?
2012 is when he moved out.
So since 2012, you've maintained separate residences?
Yes.
Did you continue to be in a romantic relationship, though?
Yes, it was on.
Melanie said, if I knew how to jump on with you, I would. I love your style and content. Ooh, love you too. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, how can I say? Well, I put the link in, and you could just click onto the link. You don't have to like download anything. You just click onto the link, and then oh boy, how can I say? You click onto the link, and then it would lead you to here to jump on, and then I would see you first before I would click on. You don't have to show yourself anything like that. You could just leave it. It'll probably be a white circle, so no face. So you would pick if you want to show yourself or not. So I'll put the link in, and you could just hit it and just try and see what happens and go from there. All right, let's get it.
On and off for the next few years. Yes.
And ultimately, what year were your twin boys born?
2015.
And who did the children live with primarily throughout the years from 2012 until 2020?
With me.
And where was the defendant living during those years, the best you can recall?
All over the place.
What do you mean by all over the place?
Well, he had a home that was in Mequon, but his job took him all over all over. So he was sometimes in different areas or different states.
And when he would be back in this area, would he continue to reside at that Mequon residence?
Yes.
And then how would he see you and the kids when he was back in this area?
He would like come in town for the weekends, or he'd come over on the weekend if he wasn't working. And that's kind of what he would do, is he'd stay overnight at my house with the kids and with us, and then yeah.
And up until 2020, did he really ever take the kids overnight away from your home?
No, the kids mostly stayed overnight at my house. When he first moved into the house, there were a couple times where we all stayed there together, but primarily the children were at my house. They had their rooms all set up at my house.
And fast forwarding to 2019, what was the status of your relationship with the defendant romantically during 2019?
It was very tumultuous in 2019. It was not, we weren't doing well. It was it was a relationship on its way out.
And ultimately, did that relationship end for good at some point in 2019?
Yes, December of 2019.
Now, prior to that, in your on and off relationship with the defendant from 2008 to 2019, had you been actively seeking out other relationships during that 11-year period?
No.
To your knowledge, had the defendant been actively seeking out other relationships during that period?
Yes.
Now, what happened in December of 2019 that made this relationship end for good?
I'm going to object that this question is calling for other acts evidence.
It doesn't, well, I'm going to just wonder what the relevance is.
Well, Judge, one of the many, I think, potential defenses here is that she was stringing him along, so I'm trying to lay the foundation for when the relationship officially ended, so then we can get into when she officially moved on. I don't need the details of...
The question is much broader than that.
I'll
It asks for a
rephrase.
universe of possibilities. And the other thing is, except in those cases where the one of the parties says to the other, get lost. I don't know when a relationship, quote, officially ends.
Right, which she would explain for us, but I will specify
right.
better.
All right.
Ultimately, in December of 2019, was there an argument that ended the relationship in your mind?
Yes.
And then from December of 2019 through January of 2020, did you have really any contact with the defendant at all?
No.
And does that include him not seeing the kids?
Correct.
When was then the first time you recall having contact with the defendant after not speaking with him at all in January of 2020?
Sometime in February of 2020.
And what was the nature of that conversation in February of
I don't
2020?
object as far as relevance. It's also outside the charging scope.
What about the relevance?
Well, just state of mind of all of the parties in terms of motive, jealousy, all of these things about what she understood the relationship to be versus what she had communicated to him, because it then results in what we have accused as of stalking type behavior. So I do believe it's highly relevant and probative in terms of what the relationship was through all the stages up till when we charged the first instance of stalking.
But you qualified your question between what, I'm paraphrasing, but what she thought the relationship was, and then you inquired what she communicated to him, so that answering the first part of the question becomes speculation on his part as to what she's thinking. Am I confusing this more?
Yeah.
Okay. What she was thinking, you see the state of mind of all the parties. Well, there are only two parties, the state and the accused. She is a complaining witness. And if he's going to be accountable for behavior in which he should know her thinking, then it needs to have been communicated to him.
Correct, which is why I'm asking about a meeting they had in February of 2020 regarding the status of their relationship moving forward.
I didn't say that was a problem.
Okay.
Why don't you rephrase your question?
Sure. After communication had been reopened between you and the defendant, did you meet up with him in February of 2020?
Yes, I did.
And what was the nature of the discussion you had with him regarding how you were going to be moving forward together?
So he reached out to me, and I agreed to have a conversation with him, but only outside in my driveway. And so we had a conversation, and in that conversation, I expressed to him that I was done with the relationship, and that I did not see it being repairable at that point, based off of what had happened. So I kind of made it clear, and wanted to kind of figure out, what an agreeable, something agreeable for the kids, like to see the kids, because that's ultimately what he wanted. So I was thinking that was fine to come up with something to do with the kids, but I was done with the relationship. So.
And did you take any affirmative steps to move on or potentially look for a new relationship moving forward?
I did. I kind of just dabbled on Facebook dating.
And did you meet someone named Rosalio Gutierrez Jr. on Facebook dating?
I did.
And approximately when in February of 2020 do you recall connecting with him over that app?
February 13th.
And did you then start exchanging messages with Mr. Gutierrez?
Yes, we started chatting on Facebook, dating app for a little bit, and then we exchanged messengers and started to chat that way.
Since your relationship with the defendant, since I think you said 2007, was this the first new relationship you had ever really attempted at that point?
Yeah, yes.
Now, at some point, did you and Mr. Gutierrez agree to meet up at his residence on February 29th?
I don't object. There's been a long string of leading questions at this point.
Well, it is, in form misleading, but I don't think it reaches the level of suggestiveness as to be objectionable, so it's overruled.
You can answer.
Starting tomorrow, this simple bedtime ice hack can change.
Can you repeat it again?
Sure. Did you and Mr. Gutierrez arrange to meet up at his house for the first time on February 29th of 2000?
Yes.
Direct your attention to I'm showing states of 212. Ms. Beecham, would it be accurate based on the to and from? You would be then in pink, and Mr. Gutierrez would be in this yellow?
Yes.
Okay. So he says to you, so don't judge my spot.
Did I see Art Van Delay pop up in here and creep through the back door? Haven't seen you in a minute, and blessings to you. Yeah, those speed up like this, they sound like they got an extra attitude. I know it does sound like that. But these trials is long. And if I just pause it, especially as long as this judge takes to get to the point, Oh, we'll be here forever. But good to see you this evening. All right, let's get it.
I haven't cleaned, LOL. You then say back, not at all, LOL. And then you ask, we're just staying at your place, right? Like I can wear comfy clothes, or are we going somewhere? And he responds, be comfy, babe. Maybe somewhere to eat, but just chill night. You then say, okay, sweet, I'm leaving soon. And he then texts you 3709 15th Street, apartment 1B in Kenosha.
Yes.
And then he asks you how far a drive is that for you? Is that accurate?
Correct.
Now, up until this point, had you been to his residence, best you can recall?
No.
So then you indicate, forgot my phone, leaving again, 50 minutes. And he says, LOL, okay. He asks you about a beverage preference. And then moving down here, he ultimately says to you on 229 at 6:26 p.m., shared my location because GPS doesn't always send to the right place. Do you recall that conversation?
Yes.
And when you met up with him on February 29th, do you recall having any problems getting to his residence?
Yes.
And what was that problem, best you recall?
I went to the wrong building. I went around the GPS took me around to the side of the building. So then when I got there, I called him, and he said he directed me back around where I was supposed to be.
Now, right around that same time frame, did you have some sort of vacation planned with friends?
Yes.
And where were you and your friends?
I'm going to object to this line of questioning. The trip that she's about to talk to, the states, this is all hearsay evidence of what's going to come out. She was in Mexico. She did not observe anything that was here, that was going on here.
Maybe I'm misunderstanding. You're objecting
That this line of questioning is calling for hearsay evidence, that they're going to try to get into a situation that occurred here in the state of Wisconsin when Ms. Beecham was away in Mexico. She has no personal knowledge of those other than what was told to her by another individual.
So there's conversation she has with the defendant surrounding this incident. The other individual, Ms. Jekyll, will be present in court and will testify regarding what she witnessed at that same time. But this is giving the context of the state of mind of the defendant when she goes on vacation, and then their communications both via the phone as well as via text message afterwards.
The testimony of the accused, of course, is not hearsay.
Sure.
That's the testimony. The statements attributed to the accused are not hearsay. The statements, which, if there are any that are attributed to someone who, how did this other person become aware of the content of the discussion?
So the other person was at Ms. Beecham's home when the defendant came in and caused the scene. So she was a first-hand witness to it, and then Ms. Beecham, in response, had to have contact with both the defendant and Ms. Jekyll.
So
you're going to have to make particularized objections to what you claim to be hearsay.
Sure, and it's just, I'll do it as the question goes on, but it is to Rebecca Jekyll. It's not obviously to the defendant.
Okay, go ahead.
So when was this vacation supposed to take place?
First week of March.
And previously, when you talked about having a conversation with the defendant in February regarding the kids, did you mention this vacation to him in any way?
No,
And why not?
because it was none of his business. He didn't need to know. We weren't together, so there was no reason for him to know what I was doing. And he was going to be out of town as well. So, and I had the kids. I had everything planned for kids and childcare all set up. So there wasn't really any reason for him to know.
And at what point during this trip did you become aware that something was wrong back home?
I got a call in the middle of the night from a friend of mine stating that Zachariah had entered the home and
Okay, I'm going to object and ask that be
Just a
struck.
moment. The sentence sounds.
So, Judge, it's not for the truth of the matter asserted. It is literally to get us to the next place. And as stated, it's conversations that then are subsequent to this, which are the same day essentially that this has occurred. But then also Ms. Jekyll will testify about this, so she will be able to be crossed regarding what she told Ms. Beecham. And so it won't just be her understanding of what Ms. Jekyll said.
The definition of hearsay is a statement by a person while the person is not on the witness stand under oath and subject to cross-examination, which is offered to prove the truth of the matter asserted, which would be the content of what the person told the witness during this phone call. So it sounds kind of hearsay-ish. And as I've discussed previously, I'm not a believer in the Trojan horse that it's being offered to explain why a witness did the next thing or whatever. But that's just in that event, it's irrelevant. So the content of the phone call sounds to me as hearsay. It might not be. Well, the caller, if the caller has personal knowledge, then if the caller's here and subject to cross-examination and under oath, you can admit the evidence that way. But on the other hand, this nocturnal phone call, I would be going in blind now if I overruled the objection to whatever the sources of knowledge the caller had, which may themselves have been hearsay. So
the caller's an eyewitness. The person
you say the witness. I don't know what the witness is going to say when she's called. All I know is that someone calls in the middle of the night and gives some information, and I suppose if she had started, I'm not going to get into that, but the objection is sustained.
To your knowledge, where was the defendant supposed to be out of town while you were in Mexico?
I understood that he was going to be in South Dakota.
And which of your friends did you set up childcare with to watch the kids while you were in Mexico?
My friend Rebecca.
And ultimately,
Okay, Melanie said this is actually a retrial. Yeah, I remember that part. Okay, I want to know why. The state made a huge mistake in the first one, and the judge declared a mistrial. State has been putting their toe at the line in this one too. Oh, so that's why so much, tension in the circus. Everybody's getting crazy. Okay, thank you for that tidbit. Thank you. Let's get back to it.
did a situation arise at some point that caused concern where you were contacted about the defendant arriving at your residence?
Yes.
What time of day do you recall receiving that call without telling me what the call was about?
About 3 a.m.
Would that be 3 a.m. when you were in Mexico, or is that that time here?
I'm not exactly sure on the time, but it was about 2, 3, anywhere between 2 and 3 a.m. In Mexico. It woke me up.
And at that point, the defendant was at your residence?
Objection calls for hearsay.
Sustained.
Ultimately, did you speak to the defendant about this?
Yes, I called him when I was informed that he was in the home. I called him, and he did not answer, and so then I contacted law enforcement.
At any time previous to you leaving for vacation, had you invited the defendant to come over to your home?
No.
And as best you can recall, what were the days of your trip to Mexico back in 2020?
I believe it was like March 3rd through the 10th or something like that.
Ultimately, were you able to get text communications through to the defendant on March 6th of 2020?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 199.
Drinking ice water melts away belly fat.
And ask if this is a phone number for the defendant that you recognize was in your phone as Zachariah.
Yes.
So looking at that first message, this at 5:36 p.m. on the 6th of March, did he send you a text that says, "Go do your vacation proper. It's Friday. Probably going to be almost as memorable as Saturday. Travel safe. No coronavirus or herpes if you can help it. Never know what kind of bug you might catch on vacation. Sometimes what happens in Vegas doesn't stay in Vegas. I don't want the kids to get pink eye, or is the coronavirus deadly?" Is that a text message he sent to you?
Yes.
Then moving down a little bit, you get a text from him that says, "Since your new somebody is looking to see you as soon as possible, what if I keep the kids Tuesday night as well? Don't want you to have to sneak anyone into the house after sending the kids to bed. Don't want the kids coming downstairs to pee and overhearing any sweet talking. Might mess with them hearing you and the new boo calling each other babe and whatever." And then you respond to that with, "Honestly, babe, first I think it's fucked up that someone is keeping you updated as they somehow think if I were to start dating again that it's a bad thing. Second, why do you care to continue getting updates from said informants? LOL. And third, I don't need your help to find happiness. You had your chance. Many, 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 many." Was that your response to him?
Yes.
And then he responds, "I just offered to watch the kids. Don't get mad because people want to give me reliable information."
Okay, I'm going to slow this down just a notch because I really want to hear what she's saying. I'm going to put this on 1.25. I know I'm confusing everybody. Everybody just work with me. Please work with me. Work with me. Okay, let's get back to it. It's on 1.25. Resume.
When you don't, it just happens to be about the guy you dumped before, I suppose. There is some curiosity for sure. And then his next message, talking about, "My last 3 years at AT&T was a downhill slide. I wish I would have made you and the kids come with. 2.5 years after that has been mostly sleep deprived, physical anguish. I'm crying all alone, dreaming of suicide. Not sure what popped in my back, but every day I can breathe again, and I want to rest. I want the rest of my days to have love and happiness." Is that accurate?
Yes.
Did you know him to have back pain at some point during your relationship?
Yes.
And during this time frame, had that gotten better?
Yes, he told me it did.
Then we have another text from later on that same day. The boy said some guy came over to hang the TV. I asked Liv if it was Leo. She said she asked Becky, and Becky couldn't help smiling. I wish she paid as close attention. And you respond with, the boys were all over Tony when he was hanging the TV, and you should probably stop probing our 11-year-old for information. Geez, cut it out. I'll fucking tell you if I'm into someone, good God. And, oh, you were expecting indiscretion around my babies, our more than impressionable daughter. Fuck no, I want her to know how a man is supposed to treat her, not control her and make her fear him. Is that accurate?
Yes.
And then he responds back later on that evening, I won't stalk you. You have told me more than you needed, just putting some thoughts and feelings down. Your goodbye was very abrupt, still sorting myself out. Figured you could just ignore it or laugh at me. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Up until that point, had you told the defendant anything about your new Facebook dating relationship with Mr. Gutierrez?
No.
So you never told him anything about calling Mr. Gutierrez Leo?
No.
And just to be clear, Mr. Gutierrez was not on this Mexican vacation with you?
No.
So based on your conversation in February of 2020 with the defendant, did you believe you owed him any explanations about your personal life?
No.
And why did you believe that?
Because we were not together. We were not in a relationship. He was not allowed in my house. I was afraid of him, and we were not together.
Now, ultimately, when you get back from vacation in Mexico, you continue seeing Mr.
Back to
Gutierrez
1.5.
And would you describe your relationship as progressing towards something?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 213. I believe you stated you got back from Mexico, you believe the 10th?
Yes.
So were these some text messages between you and, from Rosalio from the 10th of March after you got back from Mexico?
Yes.
And did they include phrases such as, have I told you that when I kissed you, that I knew you were the one for me? And have I told you that I prayed for someone like you to come into my life? Leo then says, I feel like he answered my prayers. Babe, I honestly feel like we have happily ever after potential. Was all accurate?
Yes.
And then ultimately on that same day, later that night, you respond with, you did tell me and I like that.
Yes.
And then he says, love, confession time, I'm head over heels for you. Like I totally know you are for me. Like no questions asked, you are for me. And you respond back with, I feel some fantastic things are going to happen with us, and then a heart emoji.
Yep.
Now, up until this point of your relationship, have you really told anyone in your life kind of what's going on with you and this new guy, Rosalio Gutierrez?
The only one I told was, well, my close friends, so my best friend, Rebecca, other friends that were close to me.
And would that be the same Rebecca Becky that was watching the kids during your vacation?
Yes.
Did you tell anything to your, at that point, 11-year-old daughter regarding this new relationship you were starting?
No, I didn't disclose it.
And why is that?
Because it was a new relationship, and it was kind of new territory for me, so I didn't really want to talk to her about that yet. I didn't feel it was appropriate.
Is your daughter kind of inquisitive?
She is. She's very curious.
Electrify your metabolism back to teenage levels by eating 1/2
She was into phones at that time, so also it was a matter of just her not going into phones and things like that. So I knew she was gonna try to find things out if she knew somebody's name or she knew something. So I just kind of kept those things to myself right at the moment.
At some point in March, does your daughter learn the name Leo?
She did.
And how did that happen?
So I picked her up from school, and we were in the car, and on the Bluetooth, the name popped up. So, and it was Leo on the screen. And so then she had asked who Leo was, and I said, oh, it's, a friend of mine. And she said hi, he said hi or whatnot, and then we just kind of ended the phone call. And I just, explained to her that it was a new friend of mine.
Now, obviously, there was an incident that happened with the defendant being at your house while you were in Mexico.
Okay. Rusty popped through the back door, jumping in, jumping out. Happy Sunday, everyone. And happy Sunday to you, and blessings and blessings, blessings. Hope you're having a good weekend. And what did you cook this weekend? All right, getting back to it. Oh, wait, let me see something. All right, let me get back to it.
When you got back from
I
Mexico,
don't object. That question is argumentative.
The formation of the question.
I can rephrase it.
That would be fine.
After you found out the defendant had been at your home in the early morning hours while you were in Mexico, after you returned, did you set up another meeting with him?
Judge, same objection.
The problem is the formation of the question imports
I'll rephrase again.
thinking.
After getting back from Mexico, did you set up another meeting with the defendant at the chocolate factory?
Yes.
And what is the chocolate factory for those of us that aren't from your area?
It's just a sub shop, like a sub sandwich shop.
And what was the purpose of this meeting at the chocolate factory with the defendant?
At this time, I had papers for working out a schedule for the kids. So I wanted to discuss like an amicable schedule and agreement so that he could see the kids and that it wouldn't be while I was at home and like it was before. So I just wanted to sit down and come to some kind of an agreement that maybe we could agree on to take to like the courts and just show them that we agreed on the schedule. And so that was my intention of that meeting.
And you indicated that was your intention. What do you mean by that?
My intention was to meet to discuss the children's schedule for the kids and something that we could agree on.
And did the defendant have that same goal in mind, or was he also trying to do other things during
I'm
that
going to
meeting?
object as far as speculation.
Well, based on his answers and responses, I think.
Well, for starters, it's a leading question.
What did the defendant say during this meeting that was perhaps different than what your intention was in having the meeting?
Melanie, you just said something that was a good point, and I don't know if I don't know if it's going to be on this. Is it on this? I'm all over the place with this trial. I'm just showing clips to y'all, ladies and gentlemen. But thank you, y'all hanging in here and stuff. Thank you. But Melanie, you're saying, all right, you told 603. She's very well could be, but you'll have to listen to the cross and her texts and her texts. She was still having him over for overnights and at her invitation. So that makes it hard for me to buy fear. That's what I noticed too. I don't know if it's on here. I've been watching like different clips, but I noticed because I was like, well, wait a minute. Why is he sleeping over? That's not cool. Interesting. It's something to think about. When a relationship is over, it's over. You ain't sleeping over. I'm sorry. Resume.
He wanted to talk about how he wanted to get back together. So it was, he didn't want to discuss that. He wanted to talk about why we weren't going to get back together, why I couldn't, he just tried to get back together with me. It was more about that.
And what was your answer to him about wanting to get back together?
I again just kind of iterated that the relationship was over and that it just was past its point. So it was more about the kids at this point. I just wanted to come up with something agreeable for the kids.
And after this meeting, did the defendant finally give up trying to get back together with you?
No object, speculation.
The same.
What, if anything, did the defendant do after this meeting towards you that made you believe potentially he wasn't ready to give up on the relationship yet?
He would constantly text me, call me, send me, emails, these kind of woe is me emails, and just try in every direction to try to get back with me, or just try to like almost in a harassing way, like just constantly emailing me all hours of the night, texting all hours, bringing me flowers, just.
And during this time frame, roughly March 16th of 2020, do you recall finding out that your daughter had gone through your phone?
Yes.
And did you, show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 214, these couple of texts between you and Theo, Rosalio, regarding the fact that you had found that out. 3:16 at 4:27 p.m. Liv got in my phone, LOL, and then he reacted with the laughed at and just saw this text. What did she say? Is that accurate?
Yes.
And how did you know that your daughter had gotten your cell phone?
Because she confronted me about it.
So had you read some of the messages between you and Leo at that point?
She said that she saw a message from Leo to me.
Now, as March progressed, was the contact with the defendant the same that you previously talked about him trying to get back together with you and things like that?
Yes.
I show you states 200. Text messages from March 19th at roughly 11:32 in the morning from the defendant to you.
603, thank you for saying this. I'm so tired of women like this. Melanie, I have a couple of friends that seem to do that. Just string a bad man along so they won't be lonely. This is why I always talk about this. And I think I'm going to get a detailed video. I'm so sick and tired of these women out here that's so lonely, and they let these trifling men around in their home, giving them their cookies. And if you ask the man, can you take me to the store to go shopping? They'll look at you like I'm busy. They don't do nothing for them. They don't hold the door. They don't take them on dates. They don't, take them shopping. Just do things that, relationships do. Nothing. But they just happy to have this loser around because they just don't want to be lonely. They just want their cookies busted. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And it's really pathetic when women get down to it. I mean, they really need to look in the mirror and know their self-worth. You can do better. But they're just so scared to be alone. And this goes for any age. But usually a lot of older women get like that. I would say, well, all ages, but a lot of older women. Because they feel like, oh, I can't get nobody else. Oh, I just know him. He knows my body. At least I have somebody, And he knows that you feel that way. And he's using you. He's using you. If you really sit down and think about it, what are you getting from this relationship? Except for your cookies broken. That's it. But he's getting a lot. He's using you. Oh, well. Just my thoughts and opinions on it. I coach so many people, males and females. And I hear so many women, these stories. They're just so lonely. Oh, I just want to have somebody. Well, I know we've been together for years and stuff. So what is that? But what is he doing for you? That's the question. Date smart, not thirsty. And he knows. I bet you when you're dealing with these type of dudes, if you start asking him to do something for you, or if you tell him you're going through a situation, you're having a little hard times, he'll ghost you because he's not trying to help you. When a man cares about a woman, he will invest his time and emotions in the woman. That's what they do, of people that they care about. If he's not doing that, he doesn't care about you. Yeah, I had to talk about that. All right, let's get back to it.
Well, you getting your hair pulled by your new boo tonight and tomorrow. I'm not sure what time I will be home later and if I have the kids tomorrow. And you respond with WTF, either help or don't. Is that accurate?
Yes.
What was this conversation about? Did you
I'm not sure. Maybe I asked him to help with the kids or something.
And then later on, at 11:41 that day, he says, "Dan, put the gun down. I got the kids tomorrow and next week." And then he says, "I'm saying maybe I get them in the mornings. You got someone. We can be pals all you want, but I'm dying inside and don't want to be left out in the cold." Is that accurate?
Yes.
And then a little bit further down that day, he indicates to you that he loves you. Is that accurate?
Yes.
And then there's a text at 7:45 the next day. "Since you are going to be checking your messages later, and I don't want you to have messages from all your new dudes and not me." And he sent you that message. Is that accurate?
Yes.
And then moving on to March 21st of 2020, a message from him at 5:20 p.m. "You and Leo got date night tonight. What's the plan?" Is that a message that you received from him?
Yes.
Had you ever at that point personally told the defendant who Rosalio Gutierrez Jr. was?
No.
So when he...
You're right. Us ladies seem to have this behavior too often. And it's really pathetic. It really is pathetic when a woman gets down to it. She doesn't have no self-worth. She doesn't love herself. This man, it's clear that the man don't care about you. He's only coming around for sex. Sex. That's it. What else do y'all do? Sex. Netflix and chill and sex. And I bet you Netflix is on your account. He ain't even paying for the goddamn Netflix. Oh, excuse me for curse. I'm sorry. I just get angry about stuff like this. It just really annoys me. Yeah, it's really pathetic. But thank you all for sharing. I like these conversations, because you never know who's listening might can help them. But sometimes these women, they so far gone up in their head, they don't even want to listen to nobody. They'll look at you like you crazy. But you're the one who's being played as a fool by this guy. That's all I have to say. You're the clown. Clownette. Being used by a clown. Resume.
knows the name Leo. That's not something you ever shared with him.
No.
Am I going to get a job with SB Academy?
Now, subsequent to some of those text messages you just saw from the defendant, does he continue to do things to try to get back together with you after that?
I'm going to object as far as speculation.
She can testify as to what her perception of the events was, but the jury will keep in mind that she's incorporating her perception, her conclusions, and it's not, she has no way of knowing obviously what's in his mind. Go ahead.
Based on your perception of the defendant's words and actions subsequent to some of the texts we've seen from the middle of March, does he continue to try to get back together with you in the following weeks?
Yes.
And does he do that in the same ways you previously described regarding phone calls, text messages, gifts?
Yes.
Does he continue to tell you that he loves you?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 202, text messages from March 29th, 2020. At 10:07 p.m., does he send you a text? I don't have any fight for you. I don't have any arguments. I have some questions, some feelings. Good night, Sadie Bear. I love you. Does he send that to you?
Yes.
Then good morning. Have whatever kind of day you want. I love you.
Yes.
Then does he call you? It appears 3 times between noon and 4:30 p.m. on the 30th.
Yes.
And then on the night of the 31st, does he send you a text? And I love you.
Yes.
And to any of these texts, do you respond in kind?
No.
So moving into April of 2020, have you still, strike that. Moving into April of 2020, have you chosen to share any information about your new relationship with the defendant?
No.
In conversations with you, does he have information about Mr. Gutierrez that you did not share with him?
Yes.
And what kind of information does he share with you in the early parts of April of 2020 that you did not share with him that he somehow knows about Mr. Gutierrez?
His name, and also he mentioned where he lived.
And during the early parts of April of 2020, based on efforts and deeds by the, is it your bill trying to get together with you?
Yes.
And would it be in this all the same ways that you previously testified, gifts, phone calls, text messages?
Yes. He would use, and sometimes he'd use 2 different phones to text me on, so it would get kind of confusing. So it would either be like texts, emails, texts on 2 different phones, just a lot of harassing, trying to get back together. Why can't we? Just not letting it go.
And were you aware that during some of these phone calls between you and him that he was recording you?
No, I did not know at that time.
I'm going to play for you a video recording regarding a telephone call from April 8th of 2020. Exhibit 255.
Sorry, if you don't mind just pausing, if you could just let us know the timestamp of where you started playing it from?
Yes. 9:04.
I'm not asking for it. Well, I don't know what you're asking. Stand the fuck over here. Leave me your space. I send you a text message. I get a cold fuck off every night. No, you don't. Yeah. I think.
Okay, I'm gonna put this on normal speed because I want to hear this audio. Let's get it. Just the audio, normal speed.
Sorry, if you don't mind just pausing, if you could just let us know the timestamp of where you started playing it from.
Yes. Give me a second. 9:04.
Get the fuck out of my shit. No, it's not any fucking excuse. I'm trying, but you're not giving me the space. You just want to keep confronting me about something that isn't fucking there. I'm not asking for it. Well, I don't know what you're asking. Stand the fuck over here. Leaving you your space. I send you a text message. I get a cold fuck off every night. No, you don't. Yeah. I say good night to you just the same as you say to me. It's not good enough. Fine, it's not good enough. Is it ever going to be? No, you don't say I love you. You don't say it just the same as I say it to you. And that's okay. That's okay because I earned it. I know I did. I'm not trying to not say I love you to you. I'm trying to play every card I can to say that there's a future here. And every time something happens and I'm like, fuck, dude, you're killing me. You answer it? You see? You see how you're pushing me away? Dude, I'm fucking dying over here. I'm asking for your time and attention. I'm asking that we come together as a couple and raise our fucking kids. I don't know that we can right now. I don't know you're in that space right now with you. I kept telling you that. It's not, it is different right now. You want a day or two to make a change? I don't see it making a change in a day or two. It's just don't, I just feel it. It's not a day, it's a month now. Don't get a lot of you. A month now. That's 4 weeks, 3.5 weeks. It's telling me I love you every day. Bringing you flowers, it's trying to get. I understand. No, I understand. I get it, and I'm not appreciating it. I see it. I understand. It's not that. It doesn't just flip the switch. I'm not asking for it to flip the switch. I'm asking for some reciprocity. Not the end of it.
Stopping at 10:57. So in that conversation,
Are you sick of having issues with your webinars?
do you recognize the two voices that you heard?
Yes,
And who are those two voices?
that's Zachariah and myself.
And did you know that that was being recorded?
No,
And when you indicate that you perceived he was trying to get back together with you, is that what you're talking about?
yes,
And did you have any interest in getting back together with him?
no.
And how would you explain that to him when he would bring this up time and time again?
I would just try to explain to him that, that I still, cared about him, as the father of my kids, and that I wanted things to be, as civil and amicable as possible, but that we just couldn't be in a relationship. It was just too toxic. It was too. I just kept reiterating that to him that, I didn't want it to be ugly. I just wanted it to be done.
Now, in this time frame, are you still seeing, this would have been April 8th of 2020, are you still seeing Mr. Gutierrez?
Yes.
And is that relationship progressing towards something in your opinion?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as dates 2/15. Text messages from April 17th of 2020 between you and Mr. Gutierrez.
Sorry, Counsel, the date was?
April 17th, 2020. Is this text read from, he's now on your phone as Junior, is that accurate?
Yes.
And why is he now on your phone as Junior when before it was Leo?
Because he started harassing me about Leo, and my daughter knew that.
I'm sorry, when you say he started harassing you, who do you mean?
Zach started harassing me using Leo, and I kind of started having a feeling that my daughter was giving him information from my phone, and she knew that his name was in my phone as Leo, so I changed it so that she wouldn't be able to find it as easy and report it back.
So April 17th, he says, babe, I miss you, and you respond back, I miss you too. I think I'm kind of falling for you, Rosalio. And then he loves that message. Is that all accurate?
Yes.
And at this point of April of 2020, how often are you able to go see Mr. Gutierrez?
We tried to see each other like every other weekend or a couple times a week.
And have you involved your kids in any of those meetings in any way?
No.
So when you go see Mr. Gutierrez, who would potentially be watching your children?
So at this point, we had, Zach was very adamant about seeing the kids and having them stay at his house now. So I allowed kind of to let him do that, and we didn't have a schedule, so it was too hard to kind of nail him down with a schedule because he would just want them whenever. So I kind of worked with that. So it was whenever he wanted the kids for a couple of days, and then he would usually have them, and then I would go and hang out with Rosalio.
Good question, 603. Melanie, can you answer that one? Because you said you've been watching art. Do y'all feel that she was seeing both of them at the same time? Like maybe she was, still kind of sleeping with the husband, with the ex-boyfriend, or whatever they are. I don't know. Her kid's father. And this guy too? Was she misleading them? Good question. Let me know. Put in the comments if y'all know. Alright. Oh, wait a minute. Did somebody say something? Alright. Oh, Melanie answered quick. Yes. Oh, I really should have been watching this trial from the beginning. So you think. Alright, what is Melanie saying? And the missing victim was seeing 3 other girls. Hold up. So, wait a minute. So you telling me, Melanie, this is getting juicy. Sorry, y'all. This is getting juicy. Okay, pull out the popcorn. So you say, and the missing victim was seeing 3 other girls. Okay, and what else Melanie said? There is a timeline for everything. I love timelines. I should have got some timelines before this. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. This is insane. Okay. 603 says, what a tangle web we weave. Yeah, you can't be doing stuff like this. This is what gets people fired up. And Zach has a girlfriend of 2 years. See none of the math. Oh God, I can't. This is too much. This is too much. Now I see, Melly, why you was like the way you are. Okay, all right. Let's get back to it. Interesting.
During April of 2020, would the defendant make comments to you about you not being home at night?
So there were a few times where I would stay over at Rosalio's, and then I would get like text messages from Zach saying, oh, I see your car's in the driveway, or you didn't come home last night, or yeah, things like that.
Approaching with what's been marked as State's Exhibit 203, text messages between you and the defendant from April 21st. Now I see the first one, we're talking about April 21st at 9:58 p.m. Appears to be a series of dots from the defendant. Is that accurate?
Yes.
And then you respond back about an hour and 15 minutes later with a series of dots?
Yes.
Is there a reason? Is there some meaning to the dots, or is that just how he texted you that day?
I just responded to what he texted.
Now looking down to, now we're a couple hours later, now 1:43 in the morning, a text from him that says, I am sure he is a great guy. Is that accurate?
Yes.
And then roughly 6.5 hours later at 8:15, he tells you, we stopped by to grab warmer clothes for heading to the lake house. Looks like you didn't make it home, ... again. And you responded back, I'm about to be in a conference call in a minute. In short, I'm tired of all your accusations about where I am. You're really overly paranoid. And then you tell him, I'm just that Becky's, you fool, enough. And then he says, it wasn't an accusation, it was an observation. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Now, in terms of that day, did you talk to the defendant about what your plans were after you dropped the kids off? Did you give him a play-by-play of what you'd be doing that night?
No.
And why not?
Because it wasn't any of his business. I wasn't in a relationship with him, so he didn't need to know what I was doing and where I was coming and going.
Father, forgive them.
Turning your attention towards April 24th, April 25th, what day is your daughter's birthday?
April 25th.
And what was the plan between you and the defendant regarding who would have the kids for that special day for your daughter?
So we had come to an agreement that we would have separate birthday parties for her birthday.
And why is that?
Because I was not allowing the defendant, I was not allowing Zach in my house. I was afraid of him, and I had suspicions that he was keeping tabs on me, so I just wanted to keep him as far away from me in that situation. So we agreed to have birthday parties at his house, one at his house and one at mine. He had bought our daughter a skateboard, and he wanted to present the skateboard to our daughter as a family. And so I agreed to meet them at his house to do that. And so the plan was that my daughter and the kids would stay at his house the night before her birthday. So then I could decorate the house and get everything else set up for her birthday party after his house. So the plan was then the next morning I would go to his house, meet the kids there, present the birthday present to Olivia or to our daughter, and then take the kids back home with me, and then we would have our birthday party there without him.
And on the night of the 24th, did the defendant take the kids to his house as planned?
Yes, he did.
And did you then have a company come to your house that night?
Yes, I invited Rosalio to come over.
And was he going to help you decorate for the birthday party?
Yes, we ate dinner and he helped me decorate.
And did Mr. Gutierrez spend the night that night?
Yes.
And did something happen in the early morning hours that caused you concern in terms of hearing something?
Yes, so we were getting ready to retire to go to bed. I don't know, it was like 2:30 in the morning. We just laid down, and then I heard the doorbell ring. And I was kind of like, what's that? And I got up, and we both got up and went to the door and I didn't see anything or anybody. So then I went to the window. I had like a bay window that was outside of my bedroom, and I kind of opened up the blinds and peeked out. And as I peeked out, I saw a black car going past the road right in front of the house. And I just assumed, knowing that Zach had a black car, that could have possibly been him. So that's my thought, was that, oh my goodness, he was here at the house and rang the doorbell or something.
And you indicated, obviously, Mr. Gutierrez was there that night. Was the plan for him to be at the party the next day?
No. Yeah, he was there that night. I kind of briefly told him I thought that my ex had been at the house. And so then that morning, he went out to his truck and he came back.
If I'm correct here, my stream y'all is acting a little crazy. But it seemed like I had like 11, 12 people and got 8 likes. Come on, y'all, hit the likes. Get the math. Let's get the math going. All right. Reason. Oh, yeah, hold a second. Melanie said something. And thank you, Jack, for being here. Jack done creep through the back door. All right. Full disclaimer. DA is not a good guy by any stretch. But I'm just not convinced she is a saint or he is a murderer. Yeah, I don't think she's too much of a saint now, what I'm learning from you. And thank you, Melanie, for giving us some clarity on this case. So you don't think he did it? This is so interesting. I wish I was following this from the beginning. I wish I was. All right, BG says something. Thank you for the likes, sub, and comment. That's right. All right, let's get back to it. We're just going to watch a little bit more of this one because this one's kind of long. And I'm going to show some other clips. But let's just watch a little bit more, see what she has to say. Resume.
Back in, and he was like, hey, did I go in my truck last night? It's like, no. And he's like, well, everything's all messed up in my car, and things are like outside of my glove box, and they're laying on my console. And he's like, I think he may have gone in my car last night. I'm like, oh boy. So, we just kind of parted our ways. I said, I have to go to this birthday party, and we agreed to talk later.
I'm just going to show you what's on State's Exhibit 1, photograph number 1. Do you remember, is this the truck that Mr. Gutierrez was driving or had driven to your house that night that was gone through in his words?
Yes.
And is that with license plate? Looks like Colorado BAZT26?
Yeah, Colorado plates.
Now, you talked about what the plan was supposed to be for your daughter's birthday. What ended up actually happening on the 25th after the doorbell incident early that morning?
I went to his house and had the get together. And Zachariah's sister surprisingly came into town unexpectedly to surprise her daughter. Her daughter was very happy about that, and she was not very happy with me. She refused to hug me or kiss me that day. She didn't talk to me very much. I kind of had a feeling that something was off, and that maybe she knew that Rosalio came over last night, but I didn't know how. So, it was kind of awkward. But then we were getting ready to leave, and our daughter asked if her aunt and everybody could come over to our house. So I had agreed, with the caveat that they would all stay outside and hang out on the deck, because I, again, did not want Zach in the house, and especially after having this feeling that my daughter was hating me, and it was her birthday, and it was just also weird. So, like I said, I agreed to let everybody kind of come back to the house and hang outside. We opened presents, had cake and everything, and then our daughter wanted to stay over at her aunt's house. So I agreed, said that was fine. And then, so as everybody was leaving, Zachariah wanted to stay and talk to me. And I said, well, can we talk with your family here? And he's like, no, they can go. And I said, no, I want to talk with your family here. And so he confronted me kind of at the door and said, I had this premonition that you were with somebody else last night, and you were wearing, this pink tank top, and you were listening to this song, and I know what song you were listening to, and come on, tell me, and just harassing me and badgering me about, this premonition that he had, and I have these when, when I break up with people, and you know that, and I'm like, I don't know what you must have been here last night. The only way you would have known any of this. He's like, no, and then we got into some kind of a back and forth about it, and he started walking away, and as he was walking away, he was like, yeah, his name is, and he just rattled off his name, his full name, and yelled it at me and said, he's Mexican, and just rattled off things he should not have known. And so that I said, you had to have been here. And he didn't tell me until he finally kind of came close to me and said, yeah, I was. I needed to know. And yeah, that was kind of the conversation.
I'm going to approach you with what's marked as States Exhibit 51 and 52. Can you just tell me what these are?
Pictures of the inside of my house, the birthday party with the decorations and my kids.
I would ask to publish these to the jury without using the envelope given the minors.
Can I see them first?
Oh, absolutely. 51 and 52. Ms. Beecham, in these pictures, is that what the decorations looked like the night that you and Mr. Gutierrez set up the night before the party?
Yes.
Try this unusual bedtime ice hack tonight to change your life.
Yeah, so it's States Exhibit 1 and 3.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to pause this one here. I want to show these other clips that's a little bit shorter. And if we have more time, I'll come back to this one. But I'm going to pause this here.
Yes.
And I want to show these other clips. I want to show the clips with the daughter. What did I want to show? No, I'm going to show the best friend. Let's see this clip with the best friend. What she have to say. All right. I'm going to let this one play while I set up the best friend.
Were those shown to you at different points to see if you could identify anything in the videos as being your residence?
Yes.
And were you able to do that?
Yes.
So I'm going to play the first one, which is State's Exhibit 1, item number 318. Tell me what, if anything, you recognize from your home.
It's the patio, the back, looking into the kitchen. Looks like a back deck.
So when you say that,
That right there, that's the deck, and then there's a big, huge, sliding door that looks right into the kitchen.
What? 603 says she will probably be writing to him in prison between failed relationships. And you know the excuse she's going to use? Well, that's my children's fault. I have to be in communication. Let him know what's happening. Yeah, that BS. 603, you good? You on point? Okay, Melly says. What Melly says here? And addressing them as my Z-Bear. I can't with y'all. All right, now let me I'm gonna share this other screen. All right, so just give me a second, y'all. Give me a second. We're gonna watch the best friend what she said on the stand. This is just a brief clip. Hold on. Oh, wait a minute, you echoing. Let me take you off of echo. Give me a second. Let me a second. Okay, you should be good now, Jack. What he said?
So the ex-boyfriend killed the woman.
I can't.
What?
Okay, to sum it up. Let me give Jack a small recap because Jack has been watching this one. I'm dragging him in here. Okay. This guy here is on the stand for murdering this guy. Okay? Now, this lady right here is his her ex-boyfriend, the mother, father of her kids, right? So she moved on and they broke up, but she moved on and met this guy. So when she met this guy, he became obsessed, started stalking her and all this blah, blah, blah. He even kind of had the daughter in the mix too, which I'm going to show that clip too. And now he's dead. So he's dead, but nobody knows where the body's at. So they saying allegedly that he killed her, that he killed him. Okay. But Melly's up in here. Melly's breaking stuff down. So she don't think he might. She think that maybe he's not a killer. But she do feel that he has been stalking her. All right, that he has been stalking his ex-girlfriend. I know I'm all over the place because I'm like kind of new to this trial. That he has been stalking her. But maybe he didn't. I don't know. Don't know. But I'm showing clips today. So today's just a recap. But I think this week, on Monday, they're supposed to be doing the closing arguments. So we'll see how. But this is also, Jack, this is a retrial. This is a retrial.
Okay, so they did a mistrial the first time.
Correct, yes.
Okay, because they couldn't prove that the guy actually killed the other guy.
Yeah, something went wrong. Oh gosh, Melanie would know.
So who was asking for the retrial? The judge?
I think that's what Melanie said was the judge.
I think in some cases, I don't think the judges need to get that power stripped from them.
You saying it should be stripped?
Yeah, because sometimes these judges will abuse their power, and if they don't feel like it's their favor, they will retry the case until they get a conviction.
Well, this judge kind of slow if you see him, but I hear what you're saying. Yeah, you got a point. I don't know, Jack. I'm new to this. I wish I would have caught it from the beginning because it seems like she might have been stringing the two dudes along, and then he had a woman, and then the guy that she was with.
You think she might help him with the body?
No, I don't think she helped to kill. But you still have your baby father sleeping over. Why is he sleeping over? We're not together. I don't care. That's my child father. You're not sleeping here. That it just doesn't work that way. I don't know, Jack. I don't know. This is crazy. All right, I got another clip. All right. Now, we're gonna watch the best friend that was on the stand. Let's see what the best friend have to say. Best friends usually know a lot of stuff. Okay, we're gonna watch this clip. Now I'm gonna show like 3 other clips. All right, wait a minute. Did Melanie say something? Let me see. Did she say something? All right, Melanie, you had me laughing here. She got me cracking up over here. All right, good laugh. Now, because the daughter's testimony is rough, but she does call Zach her Z-Bear all the way up to his arrest. I didn't like when the daughter was on the stand, but it is what it is. All right, baby daddy, boyfriend off and on. Oh, that's crazy. Okay. All right, let me show this clip here. Let's get to this clip. All right, this one here is a short clip, and this supposed to be the best friend on the stand. She testifying. So let's hear this one. Let's get it.
Trip in March of 2020.
She had asked me if I would be able to possibly help out with the kids for a couple of nights while she was gone.
And what was the plan concerning you watching the children?
Well, they were in daycare at the time. I think the boys were, and I think their daughter, it was COVID, so I don't know where they were during the day, but I was at work. And then I would be there for the kids in the evening for dinner, bedtime, and then get them off to where they needed to be in the morning before I went to work. And it was a Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday I was going to have the kids go with her stepmom and dad.
And what was the plan, to your knowledge, of whether or not the defendant was supposed to be present for any of that?
He was not going to be. He was actually out of state, was my understanding.
So I'm going to direct your attention to the early morning hours of March 5th of 2020. Do you recall something that caused you concern on that morning?
Yeah.
And what was that?
I had fallen asleep in the living room on the couch, and when I had woke up, the lights were off. I think the TV was in sleep mode, and I saw a dark figure at the end of the couch. And then when I don't know if I moved or made a sound or whatnot, but where my feet were, there was...
Judge, I'm going to object on the grounds of relevance and other acts. And if this needs to be argued further, I'd like it to be outside the presence of the jury.
Well, I'm going to, at this point, overrule the objection. Go ahead.
So what happened when you saw the figure at the end of the couch?
Like I said, I don't know if I moved or made a sound, but the lights went on, and the defendant was standing at the end of the couch just smiling at me and said, "Hey there." And I didn't really even know what to say. And so then he said, "Where the fuck are my kids and their whore mother?" And he went upstairs and woke up the kids.
And do you recall roughly what time of morning this was?
It was about 3:45 in the morning.
And where were you staying that night that the defendant was in the living room?
In Sadie's home.
And to your knowledge, did the defendant live there?
Okay, I'm gonna put this speed here on 125 because I don't want to hold y'all here forever. So this is gonna be 125. It's not such a long clip, but we can speed up what she have to say. Let's resume. Wait a minute. Resume. Wait a minute. Melanie said something. All right, what did you just say? Well, hopefully, but as soon as defense rests, the state gets to go at a rebuttal. Oh, that's right. Okay. All right, resume.
No, he did not.
To your knowledge, was he supposed to be there?
No.
After the defendant went upstairs to wake up the children, what do you recall happening next?
He came back down with the kids and stood there and started asking me. He actually had told me that he was surprised I was there because he thought I was be down in Mexico whoring with her when he saw my Jeep in the driveway. And then he asked me again who she was with, and I told him the people.
Starting off with the iconic brow freeze, I love how easy this is.
Also knows. And he told me not to lie and that he knows she's fucking somebody whose name starts with an L.
Now, at this point, given your friendship with Miss Beecham, are you aware of anyone in her life at that point whose name or nickname started with an L?
Yeah.
And who is that?
Rosalio. We actually called him Leo because when she first told me his name, I'm kind of hard of hearing, and so I was like, I didn't understand what she said. So we started like making a joke that we would call him Leo, and that's for a while. That's how she referred to him whenever she would speak to me about him.
And prior to this March 5th incident you're talking about, approximately how long before that did you first hear about this Leo?
I want to say maybe late January, early February, she kind of started talking about this guy that she was kind of chatting with. And I don't know for sure if that was when, but I remember like closer to Valentine's Day, she really started to talk more about him than, she had in the weeks prior.
Now back to March 5th of 2020, after I think the defendant said the thing about thinking that you'd be in Mexico, what happened next?
After he came back down with the kids, you mean?
Yes.
I remember I contacted Sadie and 911 was called, and he was in the kitchen making breakfast and telling them to hurry up and eat because Auntie Becky says, I'm a bad man and the cops are coming.
And was this still roughly around 4 a.m.?
It was around, yeah, I mean, when I looked at the clock, it was about, for the first time that I remember looking, it was about 3:45 in the morning, according to the clock in the living room.
And who had been the one to call 911?
Sadie did.
And why, in your understanding, was that done?
Because I contacted her and I let her
I
know.
don't object as far as speculation as to why Miss Beecham called 911.
Your Honor, I believe she's saying what she stated to Ms. Beecham, which I believe she will then represent is why she believes 911 was called. It's all about her statements to Ms. Beecham.
All what?
It's all about her statements to Ms. Beecham about the situation. So it's not hearsay because she's going to provide it, and Ms. Beecham has testified have been crossed.
Overruled.
So I had contacted her and I just said, what the hell, Zach is here? Like, what is he doing here? And I didn't know what to do. I was terrified. I didn't know why he was there. My understanding he wasn't supposed to be there. And she proceeded to call 911 because if she hadn't, I told her I would.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 282. Do these appear to be the phone calls you referenced between yourself and Ms. Beecham on March 5th of 2020, starting at 3:56 a.m.?
Yes.
And then ultimately culminating with one at 10:43 a.m.?
Yes.
Now, in reference to Ms. Beecham's relationship with someone you knew to be named Leo, you had indicated that the ending of the defendant and Ms. Beecham's relationship was around Christmas of 2019. Was Leo the first person that you were aware of that Sadie had shown any interest in?
Yeah, he was.
And being her friend of 30 years, were you privy to how that relationship was going starting in February of 2020?
Yeah, I was.
Now, did you ever meet Leo in person?
Unfortunately, I did not with COVID, but I did have an opportunity. He was at her house decorating for their daughter's birthday, and we had like a Facebook, it was Facebook Messenger, like a video call that night. We talked with them for quite a long time and got to know him a little bit. And then a couple times, like if she had been on the phone with him and she was with me, she'd put it on speaker so he could say hello, but I never actually got to meet him face to face, no.
Now, being a friend of Ms. Beecham's for this long period of time, did she confide in you about her problems regarding the defendant?
She did.
And what in general do you remember being complaints that she was making in April and May of 2020 regarding the defendant towards her?
She was just the text messages, constant text messages and emails, showing up in places, or just kind of, sometimes he would go radio silent and then out of nowhere just send her really random messages, just very, I don't even know how to explain it. It was just a lot of instances that she had told me about of weird things happening. And then him kind of confirming it to her when she would call him out on it.
And at any point in April and May of 2020, did Ms. Beecham indicate to you any interest in rekindling her relationship with the defendant?
No.
And how would you describe the trajectory of Ms. Beecham's relationship with Leo during those same months? Were they still seeing each other? How was that going?
They were still talking. she seemed very happy, excited.
Hello, everybody. Anton Curley here from Drop.
Okay. Oh, this next clip I'm showing. Okay, let me get a little more organized here. All right, this next clip I'm showing. What am I showing? This one here says the video shows obsessed ex-boyfriend buying cleaning supplies day after alleged murder. So we're gonna watch this clip. All right, what speed I'm gonna put it on? Yeah, I'm put on speed 1.25. Like I said, replay watchers or who's here, you can always change the speed on your end to make it normal speed. And I think, did Rusty come back up in here? Rusty is still listening to this. This is a strange. Rusty is insane. This is insane. I'm so angry I didn't catch the beginning. So we're just doing clips. I'm like just as lost out here, but Melanie is filling us in on a lot of things because she has been following it. And I believe Art said he's been following it too. So let's just watch it. All right. Now this is supposed to be, like I said, video shows obsessed ex-boyfriend buying cleaning supplies day after the alleged murder. Let's get it. All right. 1.5 is good. You get used to it quickly. It's good. But I was like, I'm going to put this one to 1.25 because I want to see him buying this stuff. So this one here. But the other stuff, 1.5. Yeah, I like that 1.5. Don't you too? Yeah, just get to the point. All right, resume.
Okay, so that's the conclusion of clip 2.
I just ask that after a clip's shown that a question be asked about the witness before we just play consistent videos.
My apologies. The last time I did this on Friday, I called him short. My bad. I take back. I apologize. Resume.
So as to clips 2 and 3, are those true and accurate copies of what you saw generated by Saukville Walmart employee and what you then brought back?
Yes.
Now I'm going to show clip 4, ask you the same questions.
Melly going in. Does that look like a man who just beat the life out of someone bigger than him? I don't know. But Melly, why is he shopping for cleaning supplies? Did he do it or not? This is insane. And he's been stalking her. It's just all the signs of him doing it. Well, maybe he did. I don't know. Get back to it. See, you just have to say, people don't realize when you do crimes, you cannot get away with it. There's cameras everywhere. There's a trail for everywhere you go. There's apps everywhere. You know, you got receipts, especially when you're using credit cards, or you're paying over an app or whatever. They can follow you. They got your first, your last name. Look at him walking around. Oh, I forgot about that. Melanie said, Donna, COVID baby. The list of supplies is not all that suspect to me. The time that this happened, you're right. This happened around the COVID time. Okay, all right. Okay, I stand to be corrected. I love it. I love it. Stand to be corrected. You brought up a good point there. This is the COVID time when this happened.
With this misunderstanding,
Is that a true and accurate copy of what you were provided by the Saukville Walmart on May 21st, 2020?
Yes.
Show you the next clip.
Clip 5.
5. That's the end of clip 5. Again, is that a true and accurate copy of what you received from Saukville Walmart 5/21/2020?
Yes, sir.
This is 6. That's the conclusion of clip 6. Is that a true and accurate copy of what you were provided by Saukville 5/21/2020?
Yes.
This is clip 7.
Then where's his mask? You don't have a mask. You got a lot of stuff over there. What you got over there in that bag? You got a lot of stuff in there. Gosh, these cameras catch every angle. Everything. Oh, paying with cash, huh? Try not to have a trail. Too bad. There's a camera right there. Okay. What does Melanie have to say? Note, the garbage bags. Those are tall kitchen bags, 2 boxes. 1/4 of what you get at Costco. This is so interesting. I'm so mad I wasn't catching from the beginning. Yeah, he's a drug dealer. Cash is king. Oh, oh, that's right, because the daughter was saying,
That's clip
I'm going
7.
to show
Same
that
question
clip.
I've asked on each of the other clips. Yes. This is clip 8.
Yeah, I'm going to show the clip with the daughter. And she said something about that. Oh, that's right.
That's the end of clip 8. Same question. Yes. This is clip 9. That's the end of 9. Same question. Yes. This is now clip 10.
Mary Jane! Okay, what was he saying over here? It's not illegal to buy cleaning supplies.
Through an accurate depiction of what you saw generated on May 21st, 2020. Yes. This is clip 11.
LEQ is a companion robot designed
So that's the end of clip 11. Again, same question. Yes. And this is finally clip 12, last one. So that's the end of 12. So again, is that true and accurate copy of what you saw produced by the Stockville Walmart employee and also that you brought back to the Kenosha Police Department? Yes. So as to Exhibit 1, number 322, do you believe that to be a true and accurate depiction of the information and document, in terms of video document, that you received from Stockville Walmart on May 21st, 2001? Yes. Judge, I move admission again, subject to the foundation of the Walmart employee.
Objection. No objection on the conditional admittance.
Yes, here. Is there a date and time up through that visit you had at the tree farm?
Okay, this is the next clip I'm showing. What is this clip? Accused killer's daughter testified dad grew marijuana at home, stored mushrooms. Okay, let's check out this clip. What are we gonna leave it on? I'll leave it on one. We're gonna put it on 1.5 for this one, all right? Since we're getting used to it. I just want to see those clips there a little bit faster. I mean slower. Rusty over there laughing. Okay. Art says sardines to full cavity. Oh, yeah, I got a point. All right, let's get back to it. All right, let's get it. All right, again. Accused killer's daughter testifies dad grew marijuana at home, stored mushrooms.
At your father's residence, what, if anything, do you know about drugs being produced there, made there somehow?
Quite a bit.
Okay, so what drugs do you remember being produced there in some fashion?
Marijuana.
Okay, any others?
Not that was grown.
Okay, and as to marijuana, what do you know about what was happening at that residence, meaning your dad's residence, the defendant?
He was growing it.
Where in the house was it being grown?
In between the kitchen and living room.
Okay, on the top level or on the bottom level, if you know?
No, main floor.
Okay, and what do you remember about the process that you saw? How was it being done?
There were a lot of plants there, and
Do you believe you know how many?
I do.
How many?
72.
Okay, and what do you remember about how they were being grown?
My dad had a water system, and they were just in rows, and there was a place to dry them in the back, and it wasn't anything like a little small operation.
Okay, so describe the water system. What do you remember about that?
It was just like,
Judge, I'm going to object as far as relevance into going all the minute details of the operation.
Well, we are getting, keep in mind, and it's been true throughout the trial, there are materials coming in that are not directly pertinent to the crimes charged in the information. And I've sustained objections to some of them. I also spoke with you earlier about some of the things that were let in that might ordinarily not have been let in, but for our evidentiary rules, I've permitted. Well, I'll leave it at that. Keep in mind that the defendant is not charged with anything related to a drug offense. And also, it's being permitted for legitimate reasons in the case, which I'm not going to go into right now. But you're not to allow it to convince you that he has a character trait or a bad character, and that he acted in conformity with that in respect to the offenses charged against him. It's what's called, it's admitted for limited purposes, limited admissibility, and please don't draw any inferences about his character as a result of that. Any question about that? Thank you. But
Can you briefly describe what you meant by a water system? What do you remember?
it was just, it required a lot of building in the process, and it took up a lot of the time. It just took a lot of time to build it and make everything work the way he wanted it to.
And what, if anything, can you say about observing the defendant tending the plants, busy tending the plants at times you were there?
Yeah.
Okay. And so what did you see him do that was tending the plants?
Just trimming them, cutting, just like normal, like plant keeping, I guess. Like if you were to grow marijuana, like it would just be like a normal plant process of growing them and like trimming them and stuff.
And what, if anything, can you say about approximately when they were harvested, if you know?
No, I really don't know. That was something that he definitely did on his own time.
Okay. And what, if anything, do you know about whether, what, if anything, did the defendant say about how much of it he had sold? What was your understanding of how much had been sold?
The last time I talked to my dad, well, not necessarily talked to him. It was probably a week before I actually last talked to him. He told me that he had gotten rid of it all, which then when they had went through the house, I found out was not true.
Okay. So when he said he got rid of it all, what did that mean?
Like he had sold everything that he had parse it from it.
Okay. So now I'm just going to show you a couple of quick pictures. So the first picture is no. Okay. So again, that's States Exhibit 1, number 307. It's going to show up on the TV screen. I'm just going to ask you if you recognize this item from your father's home. Is that something familiar to you from your father's home?
Can I ask what that is?
No. Okay. All right. Then I have no other question about that. So let me show you now what's been marked as States Exhibit 1, 308. So that is an item in a container. Do you recognize that?
I know the mason jar is his, but I don't know what's inside of that jar.
Was there something kept in the refrigerator that you were told about?
I'm going to object. She's already said she doesn't know what it is.
Well,
this is actually a separate question.
Yeah. Was there something?
I don't know what that is. In the fridge, you were asking.
Yep.
I don't know what they were used for necessarily. There were mushrooms of some sort in the door side in a opening somewhere where you would keep your butter, right? In the fridge where you would put your sticks of butter. That's where it was, in his fridge.
And were the mushrooms stored in jars of this type?
I have no idea.
Okay. I'm saying when you saw them in the fridge.
No, they were in a bag.
Very good.
To me, that does not look like a mushroom.
Okay.
So,
what does a mushroom look like that you saw at your dad's house?
they
I
were.
object to relevance.
I assume we're at the very end of
Yep,
this.
we are.
Yeah,
Very end.
Okay. You can try to answer the question if you like.
Okay. I don't know. They were like an off-white with some.
Hold up. Now, I'm going to have to rewind this just a pinch. I'm sorry, Leja. Did he look like he's about to go back to sleep? Where's Judge? He does. Look at it. He does. He look like he's taking naps doing it. This is insane. This is hilarious. Okay, resume.
They were like an off-white with some like brown of some sort, and they were just really thin. I remember them being very thin, like almost miniature slim mushrooms.
My breath is back to normal. Gums back.
He looked like he's taking naps. He's taking naps. Okay, yes, he's not doing a great job. This is insane. All right, now this clip here we have. What investigator found while searching obsessed ex-boyfriend's van? All right, let's see this clip here. And this clip is on what speed? I still have it on 1.5. All right. Let's get it. All right. Oh, 603 says something. What did you say? Sad to see the daughter having to testify against him. Yeah, that was kind of sad though. I guess it's the second time this is a retrial. Oh boy. But it does seem like maybe that, she was being torn between mother and the father. I don't know. So much. And this stuff affects your children when they get older. It affects so much damage. All right, resume.
Had the defendant's van been looked at?
Yes, overnight, when officers responded to Mequon, the van had been looked at.
In the meantime, had the defendant been interviewed?
Yes, the defendant was I guess it was kind of simultaneous with the search warrant going on. Is that what you mean afterwards?
So you had gained you had gained information from the defendant?
Yes.
Okay, before you made that decision?
Yes.
You had seen and looked in the van?
Yes.
Okay. And you've heard testimony about the condition of the van. Officers knew about the condition of the van?
Correct.
Okay. And you had witnesses who had described circumstances to you, correct?
Yes.
And then at that point, you either had to search it up site locally, or you had to make a decision that that a van had likely been involved in transport. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay. Ultimately, you've indicated that a search warrant was conducted at the Mequon residence. So I think that's been previously testified to as 6813 West Highland Road. Is that right?
Yes.
And did the original search warrant on that occur on May 19th?
Yes.
Okay. And if you know, how many officers were involved in that initial search? Only if you know.
I do not know because there were a number of officers from our agency as well as the Mequon Police Department.
And then were additional searches done the next day on the 20th?
Melanie, I did catch that cross, and it was very disruptive because she was just like a pit bull cross examination. The lady on the defense, she was like a pit bull. It was horrible. One on cross, it got really bad. Her mom was signing to her on how to answer. That child should not have been brought up. Wow. Reason.
Of May at the defendant's residence?
Yeah, so the initial search warrant, so the initial search warrant that we conducted was for evidence related to possible stalking. So we were looking a lot for GPS trackers, electronic device, things that would be kind of related to the information that Ms. Beecham had provided to us. Once the officers executed that search warrant, they had determined that there was a van that was found at the residence, and then within that van, they discovered that there were apparent bleach spots, that the vehicle smelled like bleach, there was carpet ripped out, and from what they observed, possible apparent blood droplets. So that was the initial warrant that night. Once we were able to reconvene the next morning, because of the possibility of the connection between the missing person case that we initially investigated and the possibility of the van then being involved, we wrote a secondary search warrant under that case.
So did Kenosha police officers then go back on the 20th again?
We did.
And are you aware of how many officers were involved in that particular exploration in Mech 1?
I would say maybe around a dozen again. Again, there were officers from, at that time, there were officers from the Kenosha Police Department, Mech 1 Police Department, I believe the Ozaukee County Sheriff's Office, and then from the Madison Police Department, or Dane County, Madison or Dane County.
So you had multiple agencies?
Yes.
Okay, this is on the 20th?
Yes.
All right. And what, other than the fact that several agencies were there, so again, all told, how many officers, were you there? Apologize.
I was there, yes.
Change the question right in the middle. What would be your estimate on how many officers were involved in some way in the search on the 20th?
Maybe 15.
And other than just manpower, were there other resources being used, mechanical or any other type of resource?
Yeah, so the Ozaukee County Sheriff's Department provided a drone, which they were able to kind of fly over the area. The property itself is roughly around 4 acres, I believe. And then it's surrounded by, I believe there's a residence to the west. There's a lot of, I guess I would consider it a marsh area to the south. And then there's also like a marsh or high tall grass to the east of the residence. So we used the drone to kind of do a full overview of the place. A cadaver dog was brought at the time as well. At some point there we contacted Agent Hamrow from the Wisconsin Division of Criminal Investigations regarding his arson expertise. And then the fire department had to come because the fire pit that was still smoldering, so the fire department as well.
Was it still raining on the 20th when you arrived for that search warrant?
It did not.
Okay. And had it been raining on the 19th?
I don't recall if it was raining in Mech 1 on the 19th. I wasn't up there, so I can't say for certain.
What about, was it raining at the scene in Kenosha when you arrived at the scene, if you recall?
Yes, it was raining, but it wasn't a hard rain.
Had it been harder in the days previous?
Yes.
Okay, and you know that from working in Kenosha?
Yes.
Okay. So at that Highland Road Mech 1 address, did you see a picture that was shown, I think, to Detective Anschutz, that had garbage bags alongside a barn-like structure? Did you see that picture?
Yes.
And when that picture was put up, did you know information regarding what were the contents of those bags? Basically?
Yes.
What was in there?
I recall actually looking at the bags, and there was a large amount of potting soil inside of them.
And so you've heard testimony there was a marijuana grow at the residence, right?
Yes.
When you were inside the place, the marijuana plants were no longer growing, correct?
No, there were no plants.
Okay. You're aware?
Judge, I guess I'm going to object to where the line of questioning is going, unless the state's offering to use Detective Correa as, I guess, an intent expert or some sort of expert based on his experience in that field. And if that's so, then I would ask that some foundation be laid.
I'm not asking for intent of anything, Judge. My argument is that to grow 72 marijuana plants, you need a lot of soil, and do these bags constitute a lot of soil?
That's an argument, and whether this witness has any knowledge of that then is foundationary.
I don't think his ability, the foundational ability for him to answer has been established.
Did you see a lot of bags of soil?
Yes.
And were those bags of soil what the contents were of the bags that were along the barn shown in Defense Exhibit 76?
I'm sorry. Yes.
Oh, maybe that's the house. I guess I'll show you what's marked as State's Exhibit 76.
It's Defense Exhibit 76.
What did I say? Defense Exhibit 76. Do you recall that exhibit being shown?
Yes.
Do you see bags in that?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know from your time at the residence what the structure is that's behind it? I assumed it was a barn, but is it a house?
No, that's a barn that is to the, this is in the backyard area, and then it'll be to the west.
Are those the bags you just testified were soil?
Yes.
Did the drone reveal anything that caused you to have to investigate further?
No. No.
Okay. Did the cadaver dogs hit on anything?
Objection.
Well, let me finish.
No, because then it's argumentative and we've had a prior ruling on this issue.
We have. Objection sustained.
To the entire topic, Judge?
Well,
because it's about what he does, so I'm just trying to figure out how to.
We're going to take about a 10-minute break. Please don't talk about the case right away.
In Zachariah Anderson's homicide trial.
Okay, that was into that clip. I think this is the last clip I'm showing. Let's see what this one here. Oh, talking about the daughter testified? Yeah, let's hear this clip.
Lengthy testimony today in Zachariah Anderson's homicide trial.
A child spent the day on the stand in Kenosha County. Our Bill Miston was there and takes us through today's events.
He said,
through today's events.
he said, I may just watch him or follow him to his house one time just for the fun of it. Those were his exact words to me.
A child took the stand Wednesday testifying to what they said Zachariah Anderson told them and did with them in the days and months before Rosalio Gutierrez was last seen or heard from.
They were listening to music and laying there together.
And doing what together?
Just laying there on the couch.
Okay. So what room are you looking into from where your vantage point is?
The living room. There was a space in between the curtains.
The child testified they were with Anderson in late April and took an early morning car ride to Sadie Beecham's Germantown home. Beecham is Anderson's ex and had been dating Gutierrez.
He jumps onto the porch and looks through my mom's window with a camera.
The child says Anderson stole Gutierrez's vehicle registration and snapped a picture of his license plate, then drove back to Anderson's Mequon home about 15 minutes away.
So after you guys got home, what happened next, if anything?
He dropped me off and then he left again.
The child isn't being named to protect their identity. The child said Anderson asked them to spy on Beecham and was given a phone to record her when she got upset. Prosecutors say Anderson was jealous of Beecham's new relationship.
What did he call this new person in your mom's life?
And booger.
Prosecutors say Anderson was jealous enough that he went to Gutierrez's Kenosha apartment, killed him, hid the body, and destroyed evidence of the crime, including cutting out carpet from his van. Carpet the child testified seeing in the van in the days before Gutierrez disappeared. Dueling accusations delayed the minor's testimony this afternoon. The prosecution said that they suspected that Anderson was signaling to the minor while they were on the stand, whereas the defense said that they believed that Sadie Beecham was using sign language while the minor was on the stand. She was asked and denied doing so. The state could rest its case Thursday. Reporting in Kenosha, Bill Miston, Fox 6.
Prosecutor in Zachariah Anderson's homicide trial could in Zachariah Anderson's homicide trial could rest their case tomorrow.
This after a lead detective in the case spent the day on the witness stand. Bill Miston brings us up to speed on the day's events.
Police showed up to Rosalio Gutierrez's Kenosha apartment back on May 19th, 2020. Sadie Beecham, who was dating Gutierrez, called 911 after coming across a bloody scene inside.
There were accusations made by Ms. Beecham that she felt as though Mr. Anderson was listening in on her conversations and tracking them as well.
Police went to Zachariah Anderson's Mequon home and obtained a search warrant and later subpoenaed Amazon purchase records.
It was for 2 GPS tracker devices.
Purchased in the weeks before Gutierrez disappeared.
Next left onto 12th Street, Summers Road.
Police recovered turn-by-turn directions to Kenosha from Anderson's phone days before Gutierrez disappeared.
Well, they appear to be directions that would be possibly coming from, I guess, the north, coming into the Kenosha area.
When police did show up at that apartment on May 19th,
there was no immediate signs of forced entry. It was consistent with the appearance of blood that was on the wall, the door. The person from inside had opened that door to the outside.
Later that day at Anderson's home in Mequon, police found a number of items they believed were of interest.
How much cash was paid to the customer associated with this bank account?
$50,000.
Taken out 2 days before Gutierrez disappeared. And in a still smoldering fire pit, jean buttons, underwear, and what's believed to be remnants of steel-toed boots, suspected of being worn by Anderson.
There were no web searches on how to clean up a crime scene.
I don't recall at all seeing how to clean up a crime scene, no.
The lead detective says he's never spent so much time or collected so much evidence in a case in his career. The state is expected to rest its case on Friday. Report.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's all the clips I have today. Hopefully these clips was kind of helpful and stuff. And I wanted to respond back to what's that comment was that? Oh, Melvia said, service was great. That's good. And I feel better about life in America because I went. We're so blessed to have the technology to be able to stay at home and see our own church service. Yep, a lot of things changed with the pandemic. They started having service online, and that's a good thing. But it does feel much better just being there in the Lord's house. For me, it is. Okay. And Art says Sadie and Zia both got busted, so it's a wash. All right. Melly agree. Melvia said, he must have been on drugs or just plain crazy to tell her about killing people. All right, so that's just the end of the clips here. I won't hold y'all no longer. Oh, I kept under 2 hours. Hey, I'm on point with the clips. I did well. Did a lot of speeding. So I think Melanie said that, that they're supposed to be Tuesday, I guess, a closing or whatever. We'll see what happens. But I might show, another one of these clips or whatever. If I'm working from home, I'll stream it in the daytime like I did Friday, if I can, and go from there. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, y'all have yourselves a blessed and a great night. And thank you for being here. Thank you for engaging. Oops, I didn't see Pam was up here. Pam been watching. She was quiet. She tried to soak this in. Pam, I'm lost, but I've learned a lot too. And thank you, Melanie, for filling us in on different things. And all right, Melvia said here, good night, everyone, and enjoy your dinner. Yes, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me and my endless questions. No problem. Glad you had the same questions and I was thinking the same thing. And Melanie, thank you for filling us in. And it was good to see you, Art, coming back up in here. And catch you later. So everybody, adios.